Yellow. Is it loading? Alright. Wait, let me just check. Okay, we're good. Let's go. So I think a automatic saves. Wait, what? I remember saving. What the heck? Is it the quick save? I think it's this. Okay, whatever. When I opened the door, I was greeted by a familiar face. She appeared far too excited to take her finger from the belt. You can check out the. Just search it in my channel bar, and you'll find the past live stream, which is 47 minutes long. It's not too long. Please stop pressing that. The article, have you done it? I want it at the publishers by tomorrow. My semi-dormant mind was digging fruitlessly. The weekly progress article. Did you write it like I told you to? Tomorrow, I promise, tomorrow. Don't write it. Yeah. I didn't have the presence of mind to throw up a fight. It better not be late. Nope. Make it late. Never mind that. I just received notice that our cover article has set the city council alight. Turns out that the farm assault wasn't an insulated accident. Mayor Linden had been receiving signals of worker mistreatment throughout the year leading up to the murder, but he failed to act in any meaningful way. Ah, classic politicians doing nothing. Exactly. Then last year the incident occurred. And now that the police investigation has come up with nothing, council members are beginning to openly question the mayor's efficacy. Isn't it efficiency? I don't know, whatever. They realize our publication could cost him his career? Most of her words flew straight by me, though I remember her eyes burned bright like meteorites on that pale Wednesday morning. Oh man, this is a Wednesday. We should really be getting to school. Oh wait, no, let me turn this off for a bit. On our way to school, Ina wouldn't stop lecturing me on the various intricacies of the municipal government. The trip had never felt so long. Duh, when someone talks to you about some knowledgeable stuff, it just takes so long. Except if like it's something that's enjoyable, perhaps. But if it's just saying again and stuff again, voices within the mayor's own party are pushing for him to step down. They consider this incident a telltale sign of his continuing incompetence. Maybe all of them are incompetent. Members of his own party? Wouldn't that be counterintuitive? Well, it's complicated. Abbott Island Reform, commonly referred to as Airbender, is the largest party in the town council. Its electorate consists of farmers and members of the church. But with its size comes inner division. Of the 8 seats the party currently occupies, 4 are held by members that represent the agricultural sector. They generally come from agrarian families and serve as advocates for the farming enterprises. The other 4 seats, however, are held by the Creeper faction. Isn't that the one, the Rika one? These are members of the church, mainly descendants of the original inhabitants of the island. The current leader of the Creeper faction is John Creeper, Rika's father. Yep. Whatever happened to the separation of church and state? Ina pressed on, ignoring my remark. That's kinda sus. Even though they're in the same party, there's tension between the Creeper faction and the agrarians. The Creeper faction has always tried to implement a strictly isolationist policy for the town, letting in a few outsiders as possible. Why? Tourism is good for the money. Hey, hey. The agrarians, however, rely on outside labor during harvest season and are generally more welcoming towards newcomers. Yeah, more people come in, more money you make, more happy. Especially if it's a small town, it could really help. The current mayor of Abersfoort is an agrarian, so the Kuiper faction is weaponizing this affair in order to strengthen their position within the party. Heir has always exerted undisputed influence over the town's administrative affairs. You can tell their power has never been contested by an actual free press. I believe there's much more to be uncovered on this matter. I'd like you to ask Rika out on a date. Suddenly I was wide awake. No, I'm not doing this for your stupid paper. No. I have absolutely no intention of doing that. Exactly. Oh, we'll see. Nope. We arrive at school early. I'm going to head up to the office to change into that terrible uniform. I'll see you in class. Suddenly she dove behind me as though she were hiding from something. She began to speak in a hushed voice. Look who's here, fall people. There, go talk to her. And with these words, she slid into a nearby entranceway. Ah, okay. Abe, what a pleasant surprise. I hope you've been settling in nicely. I see you're part of the early bird club. Haha. We practice with the swimming team on Wednesday mornings. There's a big championship coming up soon. She ran her fingers through her long black hair. I'm so glad you're getting involved with the school paper. Personally, I don't really read it, but my father was absolutely lyrical about the cover piece you ran in the last issue. Yeah, because it benefits him, but if it goes against him, he'll hate it, you'll hate me, end the story. You can't stop gushing how much student journalism has improved over the last years. I laugh incredulously. All credit goes to Ina. I just see to an timely delivery. Well, he said your paper's an asset to the town. Come on, there's time left before classes start. Let's take a walk over the school grounds. Oh, we're in the back alleys. Hey, I remember there used to be a small alleyway in on one of the school buildings, and weird stuff happens there. Weird stuff. Right, I nodded. In the early 1800s, it was home to a community of about 400 fishing families. Life was tough, but they made an honest living. Periodically, storms would rage through Ella Bay. Wow, the islanders protected Abbott against the water by erecting long barriers built out of wooden poles. But during storms, the barriers suffered, and the islanders would have to rely on donations from the mainland to restore them. In 1958, a highly turbulent year, weather-wise, the Elizabeth flood swept over the Low Countries, leaving a wake of annihilation behind. Part of Abbott's fishing fleet was destroyed, most of the barrier washed away. Not much later, the government announced the full evacuation of Ireland. The inhabitants were to be rehoused on the mainland. They said it was due to the increasing threat of storms and the infeasible cost of restoring the wooden barrier. Bruh, okay. I don't know if this is gonna be important or whatever, but hey. However, some suspect that persistent poverty and inbreeding on Abbott played an equally important role in the decision to evacuate. She smiled a mischievous smile. So in the end, the island was left deserted. Not really. A group of 200 islanders stayed behind, all hardline members of a small reformatory congregation. The Church of Abbott had recently been ejected from the mainstream branch of Low Country Protest. At least my vocabulary is gonna be better after this. Protestantism. There were troubled times, theologically speaking, and church schisms. I don't know how to read that. Schisms were a common occurrence. Anyway, the seceded congregation vowed to remain on the island. The government did nothing to stop them. For close to a century, they lived isolated lives with very little contact with the outside world. Until reclamation of the marsh polder began. In the 1940s, Abbott suddenly found itself floating on a sea of fertile soil. Farmers from the mainland migrated to Abbotsford to cultivate the fields. But the original inhabitants of Abbotsford, descendants of the islanders who had seceded in 1858, observed the influx of newcomers with sorrow in their eyes. There has always been tension between the two groups. The farmers work hard, but they're blind to our heritage. A grave expression appeared on her face. That sounds like that line emoji. You know, line, underscore, and then another line. Dash, underscore, dash. There it is. The islanders are honest people. They never cover up a crime. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, if there is good people, there is bad people, and there's bad people, there's good people. That's how it works. Ow! Okay, they headed back. They're late. By the time we made it up the stairs, classes had already started. You're late. She turned to me. Do you know what's interesting? After the Elizabeth flood, Abbott was never struck by a storm again. We're late for class. What are you doing? So the entire evacuation had been for nothing. You could say so. What's with this weird angle? Some of the more self-righteous members of the congregation speculated the floods were punishment by a higher power, that there was no more need for them, after all submersive elements had been extracted from the community. The kingdom of heaven is like a net cast into the sea that gathered fish of every kind. When it was full, the fishermen hauled it ashore. Then they sat down and gathered the good fish into vessels, but cast the bad away. Anyway, I have to go to class now. I absolutely love talking to you. Also, I was wondering. She paused for a second, tenderly winding her hair around her finger. Wait, I thought you were supposed to go to practice. Would you mind going out for dinner this Saturday evening? My parents are attending. I hate to eat alone. I could detect a hint of anxiety in her voice. Will you join me? This town has risk. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. That's great. I'd love to learn more about you. Sure, go ahead. I was struck by the candor of her sudden proposal, so struck that I had no choice but to agree, even though I realized I was playing directly into Ina's plans. Maybe Ina and Rika are coincided together and they're playing a trick on Abe. Oh my god. I know it. I know it. I know it from the beginning. Then it's a date. See you next Saturday. No, we're just friends. No date. She said, no date. No. Nanda yo, nani? Ina pulled me aside the moment classes ended. She seemed nervous. So, I shook my head in ignorance. What did you get, Alfrika? She complimented you on your journalism. Yeah, she would, wouldn't she? So tell me what you guys discussed. Though I still had vivid recollection of Rika's coiling hair. You know, Rika just moved her hair pretty lip. I had to admit that the particularities of our conversation this morning had long since faded to the back of my mind. We talked about the town for a bit, and I thought for a second. She said the Isle of Abbott was evacuated in the 19th century due to inbreeding. Does that make sense to you? Sure, they were ravaged by storms at that time. Only a small community remained, including the Kuiper family. Well then, I don't think she told me anything of interest. I should be the judge to that. An awkward silence lingered. The newsroom was a mess. Every inch of floor space was filled up with boxes, newspaper clipping, whatever. So Ina, I was wondering, what? When will you introduce me to the other editors on the staff? Exactly, she flinched. It's not a school paper. Stop! It is! I never said it was. We have got other editors, but they mostly work from home. It's not like I could write everything myself. I appeared to have hit a nerve and began to regret my line of questioning. Oh, the music is so loud. Wait. Holy. You know what? There was something strange Rika told me this morning. What? Something about a church schism just before the island was evacuated. She was a little vague on that matter. As expected, Ina appeared unnaturally interested. A schism, you say, in the Church of Abbott? Rika said it was the reason some of the islanders stayed behind. Ina had begun browsing her phone while a soft murmur trickled from her lips. Nandaka! That seems highly unlikely, if only... There, I found something. It's called the Theological Inquiries into the Congregation of the Church of Abbott. Oh my god! It's just a theory. A theological theory. Oh, is it relevant? Some more typing? I'm not sure. It could be. Inquiries were a big deal in the Reformed Church at that time. They could point towards corruption or severe theological divergencies. The thing is, the Church of Abbott and the Kuiper family have always held a pivotal position of power in this town. Her eyes were glowing. Any dirt on them, old or new, will surely cause a stir, much more than any aberrant migration pattern of insects ever will. She turned her attention back to her phone. There it is. They have a copy in the Municipal Archive of Bremersburg. That's less than 20 minutes away by train. We'll go there on Friday. On Friday? Don't we have school on Friday? Exactly. You're not gonna skip school, are you? Oh, but this is more important than school. What's more important than school? Education is key to a better life, everyone says. And besides, we get a lot of time off for mandatory club activities. That's still not a reason to skip school. So we headed downstairs. I noticed she was trembling with excitement. What the heck? Why are you trembling with excitement? Let's head over to my house for now. I want to run some ideas by you. I wasn't in the mood to protest. Come on, man. Just say no. How hard it is to say no, girl? No, I ain't going to your house. I ain't gonna get your ideas. I'ma go home, do my stuff, do the stuff that I like. Done. House had well-kept appearance, sterile almost. As she led me into the living room, I noted a hint of sadness in her eyes. Why you sad? After prying, she told me her mother was touring at the moment. She was a famous conductor, Mina Mengelberg, currently serving as the musical. Why do they have English name, but then the girls have like Japanese names? Ina Mengelberg? What? Grika Kuiper? Come on, man. Currently serving as the musical director of the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. Is this Japan or not? I told her I'd seen her name on a playbill once when I still live in the city. Wow. Oh, who's that? Who's that bald man? Who's this bald man? I hate it though. Empty houses gives me the creeps. I mean, yeah, there's times that you have to be alone. That's why I'm usually at the office. She produced a large book from her bag, the same one I'd seen her reading at school. I'm reading Oswald Spengler at the moment. Untergang des Abendblattes. Yeah, see, there's some, what, I don't know, German or something? I don't know. Different. I haven't made it past the second chapter. What? She folded it open to a page that she'd marked with a slip of paper. A boundless mass doesn't really mean. I don't really care. She closed the book and handed it to me. Modern man's yearning for infinite progress is Faustian in nature. Spurned by his endless aspirations, humanity involuntarily seals its fate. Yeah, you know what? That is true. We have left the natural state far behind. We couldn't return even if we wanted to. Yeah, we're so technological. We're still progressing as we speak. Being has been altered irredeemably. Irredeemably. Yep. I'm sorry I dragged you down here. What? That's your idea. I know you're not really interested in this newspaper business. Exactly. It's just I talk in myself whenever I'm catching on to something great. If I don't have someone else to talk to, it drives me insane. Aw, come. No, no. Talk to someone else, not me. I don't want your newspaper business. I gave her a reassuring nudge. I guess you know my predicament. She smiled. You know, I have a feeling this church piece is going to be big. Bigger than anything we've done before. Bigger than the Sanford House event. What's that Sanford House event you keep on talking about? It was out before I raised the eye I was doing. Didn't I tell you? Our exposing the Sanford House event was our finest hour. The scoop that truly put the Sunday Abbot on the map. It was around this time last year when the Evening Mirror, a smutty tabloid, published a series of compromising photographs of an influential Abbotsford politician. The photos were taken inside an authorities members' cabaret club. What's a cabaret club? I think I know what it is. Where he was being courted by a dancing girl. Ah, yep, there it is. The politician in question is named Leopold. Leopold Marquis of Abbott, to be precise. A member of the nobility. He still holds a seat in the Abbotsford City Council. Leopold hails from the old lineage of Lords of the Isle. He has quite a reputation as a party animal. This guy, this old geezer, is a party animal? God damn. And for that reason, the incident initially blew over with much ado. But 4 months later, we received an anonymous package at the office. It was another set of photographs placing Marquis Leopold at a lavish party inside Sanford House, one of the oldest mansions in Abbotsford. There were more girls present during this occasion, and the Marquis appeared to be fully inebriated. In a note, the anonymous source explained that Marquis Leopold had been carrying classified documents with him on the night he attended Sanford House. But after the hedonistic party, the source wrote, his briefcase and the documents it contained were nowhere to be found. We ran an absolute bombshell of an article. Apparently, the Marquis had indeed lost classified policy papers on the fateful night, and to make matters worse, he hadn't notified the council of their disappearance. It became a lot harder to forgive the Marquis' decadent escapades when the political integrity of the community was at jeopardy. So this is basically a visual novel that talks about, I don't know, dating plus politics. The best combination. The Kuiper faction initiated a charge declaring that the Marquis' conduct was unworthy of a Christian political party. They had filled, they had a field day with the whole affair. Huh? So did Leopold lose his seat over this? He didn't. He's an elected official after all, and is therefore protected by the Constitution. However, his position within AIR has become precarious since the affair. I doubt he'll return after the elections. I mean, if he wins the elections, I mean, people sometimes still vote for the bad guy, even though they're bad, because they don't know why. He stopped abruptly looking down, then up at me again. I'm probably boring you. Yep, exactly. It's okay. You should be on your way home. I'm going to read some more Spengler before going to bed. Okay, goodbye. I am going to bed now. Get yourself out of here. Get yourself out of here. I spent most of my Thursday afternoon loitering around town, trying to find something or someone to write my weekly progress article on. Sadly, as I searched in vain, it began to dawn on me why Ina had unloaded this piece of me. Aberford really didn't have any progress to report. Then a flash in the corner of my eye. No, move away, hellhound. I'm not even working today. Oh, it's the same dog. Paris, leave the man alone. As soon as Miss Voorhees entered the scene, the dog became as docile as a lamb. Hi Karen, thanks for coming to my rescue again. Feel like he's warming up to you. He didn't even bite you this time. Maybe just playing with you. So what brings you here today? Ina's making me write an article. Can be about any person or event in the town. What do you talk about the dog? Nice husky. Nah, it's like a mix of Shiba Inu and a husky. With a necklace, an opal necklace. The thing is, it's due today. Today shouldn't be referring to the weekly progress, would you? That's a local favorite. Damn. Ina must have a lot of faith in you to entrust you with such an important piece of journalism. Is it really journalism? I can tell she was concealing an impish smile. What the heck does impish mean? Anyway, if you want, you can interview me. It may help my re-election if I get some positive press out. Yeah, sure, why not? Maybe you can write the whole thing for me? Exactly! We're too lazy! Let's go! She bursts out laughing. Come on, let's go someplace where we can talk. Okay. Oh, this is the new background. She let out a long sigh. Small town politics can be a headache. How about big politics? Man, politics is such a it's not a headache anymore. It's everything. It's everything. It's pain. The piece you guys published last week. To be fair, it caused quite a bit of commotion. She adopted a more serious demeanor. Let me state first and foremost that our party has always been a proponent of the free exchange of labor. Abbotsford has some of the largest farms in the region, so come August, there's always a huge demand for seasonal workers. What party are you in? Abbott Island Reform. Air! Air! Airbander! Laborers come here from all over the Low Countries, many even from further afield. The work offers them an escape from poverty. It is in our greatest interest that they are treated well. The thing is, not everybody is as welcoming towards outsiders. Exactly. Over the last years, a new political movement had been growing in membership. Flock 05, they're called. They were founded in 2005. Exactly. So we're a group. Let's think of a different name for a group. Flock. Okay. Let's add a number, because why not? Oh, we're founded in 2005. Okay. Flock 05. Wow. Great marketing. Plus 05 takes a more cautious stance on labor migration. They claim that seasonal workers constitute an unnecessary burden on our local infrastructure. I mean, we all have an opinion. There was a small incident not long ago after their party was founded, in which a group of farm workers had been caught stealing food from local stores. It was just petty theft, but Flock really went to town with it. They managed to convert the incident into a large electoral windfall. I mean, they stole stuff. It might be pretty small, but in a small thing, in a small town, it might be pretty big. So people use anything to their advantage. That's why they always say, "Don't hate the player, hate the game." Exactly. Do you think people from Flocks are find behind the murder? No, and I don't want you writing that. No, you gotta have to write that. It's just that this subject matter is more complicated than it seems. Everything is complicated in politics. Not gonna lie. Air has always protected the rights of all farm workers, but the general attitude has been shifting lately. Something's gonna go wrong. What about the Kuiper faction? What about it? The Kuiper what? The Kuiper faction in your party. What's their stance on labor migration? I'm afraid you're misinformed. Air is one party. We don't have factions. Now you're getting information from different people, exactly, that have different experiences on things. It's up to you who you believe in, honestly. I wouldn't believe in anyone first. She began speaking in a hushed voice. Look, I understand you guys feel involved. I'll tell you more, but you'll have to consider it off the record. I smiled. No problem. I have more than enough material as it is. This is a very painful incident for our mayor. The farm murder occurred on property that belonged to his brother. Okay? I nodded. Now several voices are implying that the police investigation into the abuse was intentionally halted by Larry Linden and the chief of police. But I know the mayor. He wouldn't do such a thing. After the assault, the victim's co-workers returned to their hometown. They weren't available for further questioning. The police closed the case because they didn't really have any more leads. Why don't they just talk to them? Go to the city, bro. And the mayor's brother, what kind of person is he? I'm not sure. She paused. Pause. He works his people hard. A little too hard at times. But he's not a sadist. I mean, there should compensation always. He wouldn't do that to anyone. Anyway, I really need to get back to work. Well, it's always gonna leave you in cliffhangers. If you guys want, you're welcome to come over to my place for a coffee sometime. I can imagine Ina would love a source inside the council. But are you trustworthy enough to be the source? Maybe yes, maybe no. Oh, I don't know. That's the thing. We left school during lunch break. Outside of commuting hours, the train to Bremersburg only runs sporadically. We had to rush to make it in time. I love your article. She appeared reluctant to admit it, like a child enjoying broccoli. Who enjoys broccoli? It's had its flaws, of course. It's just I never thought about using the weekly progress section that way for actual journalism. You're writing a school paper. That's real journalism enough. Journalism isn't just about something big, something people want. It's about what happens around the town, what happens around the city. You write about it. That's journalism. That's oh crap. I don't want to talk about this. Just happened to bump into Karin. Kanin means rice. Murmuring intercept. I haven't seen any bees this year. There were a few last year, but none this summer. Just crickets now. You know how bees are very important in like the food chain? Like if all the bees died, everyone else would die? I don't know. I forgot where I've known that thing. Whatever. They kept me up last night. The crickets and their maddening song, like 1,000 voices crying out in terror. I mean, if you live in the province, you'll get used to it. Just some crickets cricketing. As if they can sense their impending death once winter comes. Hey, if winter ever comes. Wow, yeah, good for you if winter ever comes. Winter never happens here. No snow. I shrugged. I spoke to the archivist on the phone. He confirmed that the publication should be there. It's part of a larger collection of church inquiries that were commissioned by the Presbytery of the Low Countries after the secession of 1834. The Reformed Church has always been prone to schisms. In 1834, however, 3 congregations seceded at once out of dissatisfaction with liberal tendencies within Reformed theology at the time. During the subsequent decades, many more churches followed in their wake, to the point where the remaining pastors felt the time had come to take action. The Reformed Church isn't a centrally coordinated institution. Due to the particular state of affairs, however, the remaining pastors agreed to converge in what was named the Presbytery of the Low Countries. The Presbytery resolved to rout out churches that appeared to stray from mainstream Protestant theology. By proactively excluding troublesome congregations, the church hoped to end the broader trend of insurgency once and for all. The document we'll be consulting is a church inquiry, commissioned by this very presbytery. It pertains to the congregation on Abbot Island led by the Reverend John Kuiper. John the Kuiper da! It would eventually lead to their expulsion from the Reformed Church. This all took place in 1857, not long before the evacuation of the island. Is John Kuiper? Yes, her great 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 grandfather, if I'm not mistaken. There probably are. They probably are. I'm betting on it. We arrive at Bremsburg. Towards the archive, the city was noisy as usual. Wow, hotel. Hey, hotel, what are you gonna do in there, huh? Wrapped in the sound of countless invisible cars, each attempting to find its way in the chaotic post-war street plan, it appeared completely amorphous. Spell amorphous. Amorphous. Haha. Like an amalgamated. What the heck are these words, bro? College of leftover parts of other cities. They lack any single differentiating feature. Only a refined gentleman can read this. I'm not. I can't read these fancy words. Just use simple words, you know. The municipal archives were curated by the University of Bremersburg. We made our way through a few galleries of natural history exhibits until we reached the library. The library. Without as much looking around, Ina went up to the archivist and asked him for the document she was looking for. He eyed her up with a bemused glance in his eyes. So you're the students that made the reservation for the theological inquiries? Sure. Is there a problem? He chuckled. Oh, not at all. It's just that we don't get many requests for these dusty church annals. Wait, no. Oh, I read that wrong. Annals. And I don't know what that word means. He left briefly to dig up an old book. Here it is. It isn't available for loan, so you have to consult it at one of our reading tables. Man, I can't even read right. We sat down. Annals. From the moment she opened the heavy, leather-clad book, a musty fragrance poured forth from its yellow pages. In a hushed voice, she began to read. Journal of the Reverend Thomas W. H. Backer, Inquirer for the Presbytery of the Low Countries. Saturday, 19th of September, 1856. We set sail early in the morning to favorable winds and quiet waters. Aboard were the captain, John H. M. Bourne, and his two crew members, a traveling merchant, some islanders, and the gentleman Marcus P. Brasicharge. I don't know how to read this name. Would be serving the island of a replacement school teacher. I'm not gonna read this. P. Brasicharge. I'll just say it with an accent. You're excused to read silently if you want. Let me skip ahead a bit. With a good sound. You know, skip. Especially if you're investigating. Okay, I'm gonna skip you as well. So let's approach Abbott. We struck harsh and impetuous waves, and white caps formed around us. Within a matter of minutes, the formerly peaceful sea had erupted in a fierce tempest, rocking our ship to and fro. Though we as passengers were distraught by the sudden onset of the storm, our captain reassured us that sudden gales were not uncommon on the Strait of Alabay. But as I laid cooped up in the ship's stern, I prayed fervorously for our safe voyage. There appeared to be no end to the tempest. As I had a clear view of the firmament from my hiding place, I began to notice that the storm was imbued with a strange quality of sorts. For although the sea was in an unruly turmoil, erupting in waves and eddies of violent fervor, the sky above remained blue and completely devoid of the wind. It was though not gale, but a submarine vortex was kicking up these crashing waves. And when I gathered the courage to look overboard, I fancied at times that I could see a thin black ripple coiling through the waves, glistening whenever it broke the surface in the ever-dazzling sun. It took us the greater part of an hour to reach the harbor, and when the ship finally moored, The tempest abruptly came to a halt. In a matter of minutes, the waves disappeared and the sea returned to its original calm, as though no storm had ever laid hands upon it. Okay, scores of islanders had spilled from their houses to congregate around the pier. Immediately, I could discern the tall figure of Reverend Kuiper, with his chalk white hair. What's up with the music? I'll skip this. Oh. Ina pulled a concerned face. That's strange. There isn't much more to the report. He skips over a few days and then recounts a last meeting the two men had on Friday evening. I'm not confident to write that the Reverend Kuiper and I have reached a mutual degree of understanding. Kuiper has further clarified his theological positions to me, and I'm fully confident now that his doctrines are wholly in accordance with the three forms of unity. Unity. In no way contradicting. Believe Kuiper is a fine man who operates as good shepherd for his congregation. Is he? Maybe. My prior misunderstanding appears to have derived from my own ignorance of local culture and customs, not from any fundamental unorthodoxy within the religious teachings of the Church of Abbot itself. You know, the thing is about like experiences. The thing is very different. Like say one people treats you this way and then he treats some people the other way or the other way around, you know. It's pretty hard to gauge when it comes to experiences. In conclusion, I therefore recommend that no punitive or expulsory action is taken against the Reverend Kuiper on his congregation. She put down the book. She put it down. That's strange. That is strange. Did you notice anything? I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Same, bro, same. Now understand. The sources state that the Reformed Church of Abbot was ejected based on this report. However, the conclusion doesn't point in that direction at all. There is missing pages from the book, and it's the documents that the guy stole and whatever. It all interconnects. I have no idea why this would be cause for Abbot to be cast out of the presbytery. This trip appears to have been a waste of time. Let's head back to the station. Maybe, maybe not. Liturgically, Ina went to return the book. Can't you just say gracefully Ina went to return the book? What the heck is liturgically? Like holy? Ina returned the book holy. We were on our way into the exit when a figure approached us. It's archivist? Hey, it's cool you guys taking an interest in those old pieces of... What's with this? What's with their vocabulary, bro? Ecclesiastical... Ecclesiastical bookkeeping. As I said, these things haven't been requested in decades. You must be history buffs, right? No, we're journalists. We want the truth. Ina eyed them up suspiciously. You're sus, bro. You're sus. You're among us. We're conducting investigative journalism. You're not supposed to say that. What if he's the enemy? You just said your plans. What the heck? Abbott? He went silent for a while as they trying to remember something. I guess the report on them is pretty boring. You wouldn't say. She pulled me by the sleeve, signaling that we should leave. I remember there was more to that story though. There should be an addendum somewhere. Some notes that were left out of the public. I told you there was missing files. I told you. I told you. I told you. I knew it. I know it. Oh, now I knew it. 2 copies. And where may we find these? Good question. He headed back to his deck where he spent some time browsing the catalog. One is in the private library of the Council of Reformed Churches. You could try to position them. However, and the other was sent to the Isle of Abbot in 1857. The town had the right to know why the church was being ejected from the presbytery. If it hasn't been pruned from the collection, it should be still in the town archives. Well, that's all we needed to know. Dear man, you could have saved us a long time by telling us this up front. Well, you didn't ask, G. You didn't ask. You didn't ask. And with these words, she was out the door. I thanked him briefly before running after her. You didn't even thank the guy? Oh my god. On our way back to the station, we passed a small, indistinct-looking theater. Ina nudged me. Look, this is the nightclub I told you about. The one where the Marquis was spotted. Oh, it's a nightclub, huh? What's he doing there? As greedy as ever. What's a politician doing at a club? That sounds like normal politician things, talking about different businesses and whatever. Throughout our return voyage, I could hear Ina mumbling to herself in excitement. Ah, is that it? Is this chapter not yet done? Okay, Saturday came, I set to work. Everything went noticeably smoother than last time, and I was struck by the sad realization that I must be becoming an experienced paperboy. Paperboy! Okay, whatever. After my work day ended, I returned home for a shower and a change of clothes, after which I briefly spoke with my father. Father, I am your son. I brought up how he hadn't been home much lately, but he told me not to exaggerate, that it was actually I who was away. Yeah, exactly. You're with Ina, or you're with Rika, or you're with May. Though I doubted that was the case, I sensed there was a little point in arguing. You didn't even. Oh, why didn't you show the. Whatever. When I arrived at Amopagia, one of the few lights establishments in town, Rika sat waiting on me. Oh, yeah, you were supposed to eat. Are you hungry? We should order some side dishes. The fresh anchovies here are excellent. Excellence. I nodded in agreement. As I settled in, Rika sat staring at me, beaming in playful anticipation. She let out a restrained cough. How do you do a restrained cough? Something like that. So I heard you've been hanging out with May again. Your spies are doing excellent work. She has spies, man. You can't hide anything from her. I think she knows what Ina is doing and whatever. There's gonna be plot twists. There's gonna be plot twists. She laughed. Oh no, it's not like that. May told me herself. In fact, she hasn't stopped talking about you since last Tuesday. Wow, May must have likened Abe. Your misadventures among the megaliths and such. Gently, she had begun brushing her fingers through her onyx hair. Man, stop talking about her hair. Is that the only thing you find attractive? And the subtle, repetitive motions executed a soothing calm, as though she were comforting a frightened creature. What's with this guy and hair, bro? Come on. And I think that may not be so bad. It's good for her to have someone to converse with on her level. What do you mean with honor? Exactly, exactly. She giggled. Oh, don't take it the wrong way. It's just that May's always been a bit of a loner. That because she never attended regular school, she hasn't had the chance to make friends among her peers. You know what? Wait a minute. Oh, my ears is itchy. That's a good point. But for you, as an outsider, it should be the same. Oh, can you? This girl's saying you a loner, bro. You're gonna take that? If I were you, I'd just leave. No, I'm not a loner. Shut up. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Just let me know if she becomes a burden, okay? Why do you care so much about May? Did you guys do something, May, in the past that led to her trauma? I'm connecting the dots. I'm connecting the dots. Ugh. Already been reached. Okay. But tell me, how did your work day go? No big headline this week? Nope. I tried to feign offense at her statement. How dare you say such a thing? Didn't you read her exclusive report on the... What the heck is this? Idiosyncratic... Oh my god, I'm gonna be a vocabulary god at this point. Patterns of the hairy hawker dragonfly. I will. She turned her attention towards the laminated menu card. Her bottom. Why is there fancy sound if it's not even a fancy restaurant? Just like a normal restaurant, with the very comfortable chairs, the very laminated thing. The restaurant wasn't anything fancy. Italian in name only. Exactly. This looks more like a normal restaurant you go to, like a fast food one. Don't think the headline will cause any trouble this time. She looked up at me. And that's good. We don't want trouble down here. Nah, but Ino wants trouble. We want trouble. That girl, Ina, she really attracts trouble, Exactly! How do you know? Man, all of them are sus, except May, I guess, because she has, like, trauma or something. But everyone's sus. I feel like she seeks it out at times. Exactly. That's what she thinks journalism is all about. Trouble. Whatever. We have a gentleman in town who caused an embarrassment last year. Ina, of course, wrote all about it. Exactly. It's like people these days. You do something wrong, you get cancelled on internet. Very basic. She flapped her hand rapidly as if shaking off a disgusting substance. Are you talking about her hair again? Come on. To think he considers himself nobility. Nobility? You wouldn't be referring to the Marquis of Abbott, would you? Oh my, Ina has been mentoring you very well. The current Lord of the Isle is quite the character indeed. Though though I wouldn't say he deserves his title. From the late Middle Ages onward, this clan ruled the island. They owned most of the land over here, but only to collect taxes. They own the island to collect taxes. Ah, exactly. They live on the mainland on a large estate near The Hague. You know, it's basically traditional politicians. You know, I see taxes. Is it for me? And to finance their lavish lifestyle among the nation's elites, they leech on the poor fishers of the and the clergyman. What the heck? What? What the heck? Oh wait, never mind. Clergyman of Abbott. But the lords never contributed anything of substance. She smiled. You can imagine how distraught they were when the discussion fell to evacuate in 1858. With the Fishers leaving Abbott, there was no source of income left. The waitress came to bring us our side dishes. To stay out of poverty, the clan sold about half the island to the Church of Abbott, whose members would remain on the isle. Their glory days were indisputably over. They had to live frugally in their castle, which began to crumble from neglect. Things changed, though, after the reclamation. Have you guys eaten? It's it turned from night to day in an instant. There's nothing on the table. Nothing changed, man. I hope they like, change stuff. Like I know it's pretty hard and demanding, but it's all the simple. It's all the it's big stuff is good, but the small stuff is great as well. You know. But yeah, sometimes big things, big impact. Small stuff, small impact. But you know, in 1917, the marsh fell dry. Marquis Louis of Abbott was one of the first to return to Abbott's fort to reclaim the part of the island his family were still legally entitled to. Louis played an important role in developing Abbotsford in the 20th century. It was in his interest that the housing prices rose so that his family could collect rent again. He turned Abbotsford into a major agrarian hub, inviting farmers from all over the Low Countries to move here. He had a little boy with him at the time, young Leopold, a spoiled brat even at that age. She paused for a second to move the plate of fish in my direction. You've been talking for hours and you haven't ate. What the heck is this restaurant? You're the only ones there. Look at the seats. No one. I can imagine the native population wasn't too happy with that. They weren't. Initially, there was a lot of strife. As more and more farmers arrived, the newcomers began to outnumber the original islanders. Now, politically, Eyre had always maintained complete control of the town council. The islanders feared that the farmers would form their own political movement that would be able to seize power. So how did that work out? Well, it wasn't all bad. Since the evacuation, the church was the second largest landowner on the isle. The inflated housing prices were good for us too. In the end, Marquis Louis played an important role in reconciling the two sides. The agrarians were welcomed within Eyre as long as they agreed not to occupy more than half of the seats in the council. This meant the church would retain control in the state of affairs on the island, while the newcomers still feel represented. So is that how the two factions within the town council arose? Eyre doesn't have factions. All politicians operate in the best interests of the community. Nah, are you sure about that? I mean, if there is allegations with something in here and there, maybe. She winked. Except for Leopold, of course. He's a blemish on our town. Maybe your father is, huh? Maybe you are, maybe not. Are you writing another article on him? Let me know if you need more information. Can you just talk to Ina for me? Like, ayo, can you just talk to Ina for me? I don't need this stuff. She needs this stuff. She's very into journalism. I'm just a delivery paper boy. No need to tell me this stuff and then relate on her like like I'm some messenger. I'm not your bird taking messages and then sending on the other. Come on, just talk yourselves out. That her loose tongue didn't necessarily stem from the wine or the amicable atmosphere. You know what? This is a fancy restaurant. Why is there a wine? It's like you guys are students and you're already drinking wine? How sophisticated can you be? God damn. We sat in silence, eating fish while it gradually grew darker outside. It's already dark in my screen. Then she gently wiped her mouth on her napkin and looked up at me. Is there anything else you'd like to know? Is there anything else you'd like to tell me? Oh, plenty. Just like I like to stay one step ahead of Ina's games. I don't know what to believe anymore. Oh my god. I'm sticking with May at this point. While I was surprised at her sudden change in manner, I managed to remain collected. It's getting very late. I have to be in the church tomorrow by 9 a.m. She smiled a faraway smile. Can you imagine what it's like? A reclamation like that? Can you imagine how it would feel? You've been living your whole life on a secluded island, and then suddenly you witness the waters drop around you until all that's left is an endless wasteland of stinking marshes. The people here had spent their lives in the midst of a majestic sea, but in a period of less than a year, all of that was reduced to a swamp strewn with decaying fish corpses. I stared at her in silence. There have always been higher powers that decided over the people of Abbott, be it the lords, the national government, the presbytery of churches. But through their inhumane treatment of the islanders, they have sown the vines from which grapes of wrath would grow. It left them feeling futile and angry, helplessly against the forces that be. She's smiling while saying this? Are you supposed to be angry? Come on, man. Like, if you're gonna show the picture, at least change their emotions once in a while. For some reason, it strengthened their faith. They realized they had to rely on a far higher power to deliver them from these tyrannical pharaohs. I mean, it's just weird that you're smiling while saying this. Like, the native inhabitants of Abba truly feel they are God's people. Yeah! Without asking, she impaled the last of the fish on her fork, bringing it to her mouth in one motion. After swallowing, she resumed her monologue. During the reclamation of the marsh boulder, as the workmen built the long embankment that would keep the water out, incidentally, strange reports would emerge. I looked up from my drink. The men would experience an impromptu storm, a sudden succession of roaring eddies that inhibited work for as long as they persisted. I mean, I like the music, but sometimes it's just too much. The thing was, these storms were highly localized. They would even occur on the most tranquil of days, when there wasn't a gust of wind in the air. I think they ascribed the phenomenon to ocean currents sent wayward by the altered flow of the great rivers. I mean, I think it is because your islands are, they're not really real islands. They're like, oh, what do you call that? I forgot. Whatever. However, that doesn't sound like all in the word when described. They spoke about raging tempests and huge waves. A huge waves. Okay. She took out her purse and placed a 50 on the table. 50? 50 what? $50? $50 for some fish and wine? Wow. Okay. But that wine must have been low quality. I mean, I think I told her I felt the same way. Then I reached for my wallet to pay for my share. Save your hard-earned money. My dad said he'd cover the tab. Your dad, pretty weird. I grumbled appreciatively. Why, thank you. I mean, I'll be like, hey, it's your treat. Okay, let's go. Let's go. You ate some good food. You drink some good wine. No problem. Okay. I woke in by 9 by church bells, after which I felt bad until I was awoken by the bells for the noon service. For a brief moment, my heart went out to Riga Kuiper, who was slightly expected to be present and presentable for all of today's services, until I dozed off yet again to be awoken considerably by this time by mysterious ticking against my bedroom window. When I made it out of the bed, I saw May standing outside, dressed head to toe in immaculate black. May, what are you doing? She told me. Rika finally told me. I poked and pestered her throughout the service until she finally agreed to give me your address. I think she was embarrassed in front of the congregation. I mean, you're doing that inside the church, of course. Who wouldn't be embarrassed? Like, hey, 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 give me the guy's address. Hey, give me the guy's address. Hey, hey, hey. I tried throwing stones at each of the windows. Isn't your father home? You tried throwing stones? Damn, that's worse than a teenager. That's actually like a crime. Teenagers would just like throw eggs and stuff. That wouldn't damage windows. You're throwing stones. What the heck? You're breaking stones, bro. You're gonna break the windows. What the heck? This is a break-in. This is a challenge. It's Sunday afternoon. Let's go on an adventure. Yes. Have you had lunch yet? Don't worry. I took some peppermints from church. Peppermints? What? In my groggy state, I tailed her through deserted streets. From her determined gait, I could tell she was leading me somewhere. It wasn't long before we left our drab suburban estate behind to enter a patch of brushwood that bordered the village. Wow! I mean, if she takes you to wonderful places. She stopped for a second to hand me some mints. They stood out chalky white against her jet black dress. So what's with the depressing outfit? You had a funeral this morning? Oh no, we always dress in black for church. If there'd been a funeral, they'd make me wear a veil. Why are you guys wearing black in a church? I don't know, whatever. I don't really care. Giggling, she placed a mint in her mouth and took off again. Wow, look at the skies. On the other side of the trees lay a rolling meadow. It was not far beyond here that the landscape made a sudden steep drop into the endless stretches of farmland that formed the remnants of the former sea. Hurry up. I could barely make out her golden hair in the blind. Why? You're talking about her hair again. Oh my god, man. This guy's addicted to girls' hair, whatever. It wasn't much later that we reached that appeared to be the destination of our journey. Another rock formation. Exactly. Not just stones. A dolmen. Can't you tell by the way they're stacked? I don't know what a dolmen is. I'm not a geology. I know the study of rocks. I know science. Though the smaller than the megaliths she showed me last week, the stones had been piled to form a tiny abode. Why is there Star Wars music in the background? Excitedly, she pulled my hand. Look, S, an S. Wait, what? She was pointing out a crude S-shaped pictogram. I'll just say this one. Don't tease me like that. Yes, it's an S. She brought me here as a personal translator. I walk over to the beginning. Dolmen M4, commonly referred to as the S Dolmen, likely built as a megalithic tomb by members of the Swinter Band culture, dated around 3500 BC. You know what? I'm the Taylor Swift culture. Let's go. Skip over some further text. A salient feature of M4 is the S-shaped petroglyph engraved on its southern side. Though resembling the letter S, it was carved long before the emergence of the Proto-Sinaitic alphabet. This rune likely depicts a housemark, a type of symbol that was used to identify clans during the late Neolithic. Though the discovery of petroglyphs inside megalithic tombs from this period is not uncommon, the prominent placement of this S-shaped rune on the dolmen's outer exterior is unique in the Low Countries. May stood there, slinking down in disappointment. So the S is not an S? I read on. These stones stood quite close to the shore, but it was still an island. Did you know Abbotsford used to be an island? Yeah, I think. No. She was looking at me all glassy-eyed. No, we're gonna lose the perfect. No! You didn't know? What do these people teach you? No. Not an island. Abbott was connected to the mainland once. Ah! Too much information. Now you don't know the real story. May is saying that Abbott was connected to the mainland and got removed. Someone saying that it's not a real island, it's a built island. Some are saying, information overload. I'm not believing anyone anymore. Nope. Her voice is no more than a whisper. Huh? Nani? And before I knew it, her eyes had turned a cloudy pearl. She had drifted off, a faint smile on her face. Oh, she turned on her other side. No. We were playing here on the beach, Sigurd and I. I had 4 younger brothers at first, but 3 of them died in infancy. Sigurd survived though. Sigurd was the strongest. We dragged a fallen tree far into the water that day to pretend it was a sea monster. I already know he would be leaving soon. I remember his hair, how it shone bright in the sun on the last summer day. Her expression darkened. Sigurd, I prayed so long for your return. I would pray here by the stones. I prayed to the Chthonic gods who dwell through immeasurable depths. Sigurd was sent away to live with an allied tribe. It was a ritual would perform whenever an eldest son turned 7. It was meant to strengthen regional bonds and to to prevent madness. Madness. Don't know where you at this. Okay. I prayed so many nights, Sigurd. After that, May remained silent for a very long time. It wasn't until the sun began to set that the color in her eyes returned. She's crying, bro. There it is. During that moment, she looked vulnerable, helpless, as though she couldn't begin to fathom the intricacies of that episode, that mysterious absence that had come over her. I helped her to her feet, supporting her as we slowly, wordlessly commenced our journey home. Wow, that actually looks good. Yeah, the drawing looks nice. Not looking to run in anyone in town, we took the longer route home, around the perimeter of the former island. After a while, I became aware of May's gentle humming in my ear, and by the time we had made it into her parents' farm, she appeared to have returned to good spirits. Thank you for bringing me home, Abe. I had a great time at the shore. Wait. Though I was caught off guard at the time, I was happy to see she had regained her cheer. Do you want to come to the lake with me someday? The water should still be warm, like summer. She appeared almost drunk with fatigue. Will you come with me, Abe? The lake is so big, like an ocean almost. It's really time to get you to bed? What the heck is it? You're not... Abe, you're nowhere near that type of relationship. You're not even friends yet. You're just acquaintances. You don't say to anyone, it's time to get you to bed. What the heck is that? Even though it's not it's a person that's special or something. Special, I don't want to say it. But you don't say that. You don't say that, okay? That's weird. That's just weird, bro. That's weird. You know, oh, it's time to go to sleep. Haha. You don't say that to someone. That's so creep and weird out. I bade her goodbye. Okay, is it done? Chapter 2 is done? Nope. Police sirens followed as I drew closer to town. Oh no, what happened? I followed them to the main street where I was nearly knocked down by a small dark figure. It's Ina! There you are, finally. We need to smell up and see this possible. Scene! Did you read my message? There's been an attack on Karen Vorsi's house. Man! My man was enjoying with May. Perfect. Nice. Perfect. Exactly! We don't like Ina. Let's go! So, yeah, I think, thank you for playing the early access version of news. Full version planned. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can go to this. Oh, so is it done? Alright, so we're done with this game. So this is just the early access. There's a ton more happening. So I hope the quality gets better. I really hope that the expression of the characters gets thoroughly shown. It's just like smiley face, sad face, crying face, you know. There's a lot more emotion that goes within storytelling that it isn't really shown here. That's why I like more about Find Love or Die Trying. The story is really nice, but it's just not for me. I'm not into politics. But we must be into politics because it doesn't just affect your life, your family's life. It affects everyone. That's why it needs to be really talked around. So I think it's a pretty good game when it talks about that, and it creates a story about a centered. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. But that's Deluge, Threnody of Crashing Waves. I'll see you guys when the full version is out. Maybe I'll continue playing. But for now, I'll delete this game because I'm losing memory on my computer. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace. I mean, live stream. But yeah, take care and peace. Let's go.